I tend to write when I can, and I'll put it in this box. And goodness knows what's in here. I have not cracked this box, and you can actually see the dust on it. The last short film I put out was Conclusions, and that was what, at this point, probably 3 years ago, and I haven't been into this box since then. I do have a couple of notebooks sitting across on the other side of the room here that I've got a few little things I was working on, but yes, that's neither here nor there. A lot of that is just random ideas, and something like the last thing that I did was, and it's a newer version of the Vomit Pass idea. There's a couple of ideas over there that actually came from dreams. I actually woke up and had a notebook beside the bed, and I started jotting down a few things. And the last time it did that, I actually just lifted my phone, turned on the memo, and just recorded. Just straight out of the dream. You know yourself. You wake up from a dream, within 10 or 15 minutes, it's completely gone. But in that first few moments, whenever you wake, the details are still there. So I lifted the phone, turned on the memo, just talked what I'd seen in the dream. But anyway, let's get into the box. There is material in this box, I'm pretty sure, from 7 or 8, perhaps 9 years ago. So let's just go on from the top and see what we have here. Right, this is, okay, conclusion. I am very, very well organised when it comes to this stuff. I get these little folders and I put everything in them that, will be from a project. So this one is called Conclusions Insurance, and we did have a slight budget there, not what we were looking for, but I was able to cover the legal side of things, because the idea on Conclusions was it was a film based on like a suicide awareness, and I wanted it. The idea of that film in my mind when I made it was potentially if I could help someone, like a charity or whatnot, they could take the film and use it. It didn't put any copyright restrictions on it, but it did, when making it, want to do it 100% legal. I wanted to get at least that part of it covered. So the little bit of money I was fit to script together for it, I was able to get a film and media insurance from a company in Surrey, England. And yes, that's the legal documents and all that there. So that's in this with Conclusions. There's a lot of paper here. Performance media insurance policy. Yep, so we're all covered for that, and we've got a copy of the script for Conclusions right here. I love that film. It's probably it is the most professional piece of content that I've put out there so far. So I can't recall what all is in this box. As we go through it, I'll try and remember why some of the stuff was done. Okay, this next little folder I've got here has got like film ideas and notebooks. So yeah, I tend to keep these on hand, these little notebooks, for ideas. So this one here is, okay, this is a list of episode ideas. I had completely forgot about that. For online series and whatnot, that's the thing that, as a creative person, you really need to get into the habit of actually keeping notes. Already get into this one here. I can't recall what this episode 1 idea is. A day in the life. That could be vlogs, or it could be a short film. This is, okay, Conclusions. It's written here, but it's scribbled out. Then there was Ashes. Ashes was originally meant to be a follow-up to Conclusions, but I kind of drifted off that idea because of the backlash from Conclusions. That as a film that I do believe will help a lot of people, but there's a lot of people that were rather upset that that film was even conceived of, never mind made. But that is another story for another time. What else have we got in here? We have got the newspaper clippings for Conclusions when the fundraiser was out. So if you want to check that out, that's on the website. There's a page dedicated to Conclusions and the cast and the crew and whatnot. So there's the other little article. It was in another newspaper. What else have we got in here? Okay, this is another script for Conclusions. There's a few notes been made in this one. Oh, I wondered where they were. I haven't seen them in a long time. As part of the fundraiser, I was giving away perks on Indiegogo. One of the perks was you got storyboards for the films. Now, storyboards is something that I didn't do up until Conclusions because it was just something that wasn't necessary. Like I've got a very visual mind, and I'm really good at seeing the vision in my head. And I didn't make these till the film was actually finished because it was part of the perks. So there is a full bunch of scripts, and the artwork is nothing to write home about. It really isn't. But yes, it's nice to know where they're at. And yes, that's that second folder finished. So okay, haven't got any new scripts yet, but this is stuff that's just going to be nice to look back on in years to come. So yes, let's put that little notebook in there where it belongs, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot more stuff in that book. This folder is also titled Conclusions, and this is the original. It says final draft on it, but there is a key scene. This is I tend to handwrite all my scripts at the start instead of sitting down at the computer, because I just find that my mind works a lot better when I actually have a pen and I'm actually writing on paper. So this is the original final draft of it. Oh gosh, I've only read one page here, and this is so different to what the final film actually is. There is a scene, and I'm just curious to see if it's in this one here. Okay, as I was saying, this looks a little bit different than the final one. There's a scene in Conclusions where there's a dialogue scene on the coast, and yes, it's in here. This is actually the first time I reread that. Reread as writ, even a word. When I had the final, in my mind, the final draft of Conclusions, I actually sent it to a guy in the North Coast Film Collective, Thomas, and he read it over, and the script was fair. Wasn't nothing to write home about, like most of my stuff is. But he got in contact with me, and he said, and I enjoyed that script, but this part here at the beginning, you need more there. And I went back and had a look at it again, and it was 100% right. So I sat down and wrote a little dialogue scene to kind of fill in the gap, because there's a time jump. And the Conclusions starts off, you get like a setup of this guy, the frame of mind he's in. Then it skips to 6 months later, and you get the last of the film. But in my version of it, he gets to the coast and he goes to a certain part of it, and we just cut from that to the 6 months later. But there was just too much of a jump there for the audience member that would be watching it, and that's a mistake I see a lot of filmmakers making, especially at the beginning of their careers and this stuff. They tend to look at a story that long and understand it that well in their own mind that by the time they actually get to shooting the thing, they leave a lot of stuff out because they don't think that it's needed. But it's only because in their mind they're so far into the story they kind of forget about the audience member. And it's really weird. I've done it a lot in the past, and thankfully through this advice, and it's always good. You get that constructive criticism from someone, and you take that constructive criticism and your stuff elevates to a higher level. So I love getting constructive criticism from someone that's genuinely interested in helping you out. It sucks whenever you get someone that's just giving you flat out hate on something, but whenever you get someone that's like, you know what, this is grand, but it would be a lot better. And so a lot of people will be brutal about it. This is a fair script, but in all honesty, it is garbage. You need to change this part of it. And this guy was right. I changed it, and that scene is the best scene that we've ever put into a little film. So this one here, conclusions, almost final draft at the top of it. Perfect draft on the way. So this one here is obviously the script that was sent out to this guy, and he gave me the advice to change some things. So let's just get to where that is. Yep, that's exactly what the script is. This is the version that was sent out to the guy who told me to change it. So I've got that there, and we've got the notes that I got on it from a few different people. For example, revise the dialogue in the opening scene. Add scene interviews at the waterside. Intervenes at the waterside. Yep, this is the notes that I got for it. So then I've got a list of things that I was planned to do. We've got conclusions, part 1, Ashes, part 2, which would have been the follow-up to it, was never made. Scars, which I got to the point where when I got the Scars, I wanted to make 3 films on this subject, but by the time I got the Scars, it was just stretching it too far out, so it kind of compressed Scars and rewrote Ashes to include it as well, because I felt that it wasn't a strong enough one to stand on its own. But ultimately never got made. Then I've got the cast and crew listings on this page, so that's interesting to have all that stuff. So yes, a lot of handwritten stuff. I love doing it that way. So oh, I see what this next one is. This is interesting. This one here is stage show ideas. Now, that is a random thing for me, as talking about being a self-taught filmmaker. But when I was taking the film about to different places, different charities to see if they'd be interested in it, and again, the film's online for free, but I thought it would be a nice touch to go and actually speak to people myself. And I went to a place in Cookstown called The Hub, and the woman that runs it, and it was a weird thing whenever she said it, but again, it makes perfect sense as well. She said, would it work as a stage show? She asked to see the script first, and would it work as a stage show? Like, obviously they put on plays and that sort of thing, but I was kind of like, I don't know. I thought it would work as a stage show. I'm very visual, and when it comes to short films, not very visual when I'm making these sorts of videos, because it's just talking heads sort of thing. But conclusions starts off with the car driving to the coast, the guy looking down into the water, and Would it work as a stage show? I don't know. But then I was challenged by my friend Jillian to actually try and write something for a stage show. So, play ideas, credit Gillian Park. Coffee shop scene. Okay. Okay, this is obviously a reworking of conclusions. Jason's one of the characters. Jason's the main character. And conclusions. And this one here is like I've got a list of like 5 ideas. Two people of a family, Jason, are talking about him, but don't understand. My England isn't too good. Okay, this is obviously just a list of ideas where this guy ends up with a counsellor on the stage. I don't think that would work. I'm just rereading this stuff again. That's essentially what I have here is the conclusion story, but it's compressed down to easier places, instead of the coast that starts off in a coffee shop, where you could, easily recreate that sort of a background on stage. So to kind of, if you've seen conclusions, there's the opening scene on the coast. It flashes back to a kitchen scene, then back to the coast again, and this is kind of compressing that down into like a coffee shop scene, leading into this guy seeing a counsellor. So that was an idea that started, didn't go any further. Some other ideas here. Stage show based on conclusions. Driver could also be another short film. Okay. I'm not sure what Driver is. Whenever I made this note, I obviously didn't feel the need to put down what Driver actually means. A few months after the events of conclusions, there's been a court case about the accident that killed Jason. The driver has been found not guilty. It was accidental death / suicide. The driver was racked with guilt. It was his car that killed Jason. Okay, this is another stage show based on the guy. Spoilers. At the end of conclusions, the main character dies after stepping out in front of a car, and this stage show is telling the story of the driver of that car, because it's just a very quick sequence at the end of the film where the driver jumps out and is like all shocked and what the heck have I done sort of a thing. So yes, that could be interesting to follow up on that. I might actually look into going a little bit further with this and see where it goes. So that's interesting. We'll be able to use footage from the completed conclusion short film of the car, with added footage from the driver's perspective of it happening. Ooh, that's interesting. I was a little bit more creative on this one than I had thought. So this is going to be an incredibly long video. If you're hanging on there, guys, I do appreciate it. It's going to be good for the audio podcast as well. Let's get into this next folder. This is Ashes. So again, conclusions is going to spin off into 2 other short films. We've got an outline here of what the film is going to look like. And an outline for Scars is also in here. Got some notes on what I was writing there, and yes, pretty much that's as far as that got. There's a rough draft. Fade from black. We see Kate standing on a hillside. She's surrounded by flowers and trees. The sun is shining. The camera pans up close to her face. She is smiling and really happy. A hand comes on screen from behind her and touches her on the shoulder. That's Jason. They embrace and hold each other tightly. The camera comes in close to Kate's face, and she looks very content. All of a sudden, Kate doesn't feel right. Her expression changes to worry. Her hands feel wet. She pulls away from Jason. Just a moment ago, he looked okay. Now he has blood streaming from his head. Kate looks shocked. She looks down at her hands. They have blood on them. Okay, I remember this now. That was a dream. That was the opening for Ashes. That's interesting. That's not to say I'll never make this short film, but that's good to keep these little vomit pass ideas, because if something doesn't pan out, if you don't get it made, you could realistically rework it into something else. So yes, I'm glad that's on there. What else have I got on here? Scars. There is the folder for scars, and I've got a little notebook in there, but I know this was all preparation, because I got a separate notebook for every project that I was intending to work on. So I know scars never got started 100%, and this notebook will be empty, so that can be reused at some point. This one here is an interesting one, because this is actually something that I was working on today, and this project is called Masquerade. Now, I don't believe I got anything for this. No, there is actually some notes on here for it. Okay, that was obviously okay. So far from Masquerade, I did a lot of research online for this film. This started out as a short film idea, like a 10-minute short film, but when it got to a certain point in it, it just kind of felt like, it was an episode of one of those 80s TV shows, like, Highway to Heaven or Touched by an Angel or something like that there. That's the sort of vibe I was getting from it. And I thought to myself, okay, this is too much like stuff that's already out. I want to expand it a little bit and go a little bit deeper on it, because the idea was good. Don't get me wrong, it was a good story. I wanted to tell it, but it just was something that could be done better. So I went in and started rewriting it in places, and it started getting bigger and bigger, and actually it went to, at one point, 45 minutes. 10-minute script, like, usually in a script, it's like a page, like it's a minute. Every page of script is basically a minute in film. They say that's kind of like the guideline on it. So the 10-minute film was going to like a 45-minute thing, but then it was starting so many other ideas for me, and it actually led into another script idea that would follow it up, like another film. But then I kind of thought to myself, you know what? What if... And the more I had written it and expanded it, the bigger the overall story was starting to be. And I was thinking, you know what? This could be like an 8-parter. So I was thinking, would this work as an online series sort of a thing? So I put that in the back burner. And I'm glad I came across that little book, because there's a lot of notes in there that I had thought I had forgotten about. So I spent all morning writing stuff for that there, so that's going to be incredibly helpful. This one here is Lurker, feature-length film. Lurker was my second short film, and basically all I wanted to do on that one was try the day for night effect. That was the whole idea on it. It's basically a guy getting chased through a forest. But I started thinking about that film, and it's like 7 or 8 minutes long, and it always felt to me, the way it finished off, this would be a good setup to a longer film. So I actually thought, could a feature length of Lurker work? So obviously I have, right, Lurker feature length, list of ideas here. The short film of Lurker will essentially be the opening to a feature length Lurker. That's the first thing written on this page, only after saying it. The victim's friends try to work out what happened to him. The victim, obviously the guy that was in Lurker. Number 3, urban legend about the creature known as Lurker. Okay, I can't repeat this one because it has someone's actual name. Get blah 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 involved as survival camping coach and weapons expert. Okay, if anybody knows me personally, they'll probably know who I'm talking about. Find a different forest than the one used in the short. Why did I put that on there? Okay, obviously, as a no-budget filmmaker and making this nonsense up as you go, you tend to use what you can. And I used the same location a couple of times in different films, so I think that was just, change your background a wee bit, guys. I think that's what it was. Just keep the script cheap and workable. That's very good advice. Should the Lurker creature be seen this time? Right, that is something I'm really toying with if I did go ahead with this project, because the thing about Lurker was I wanted to try and freak people out, not just, try the day for night effect. I wanted to try and see if I could freak people out just by using camera movement and sound. So basically it was like a point of view of the creature, seeing from its perspective coming through the forest, and you'd be, putting sound effects in there of roars and growls and whatnot. And yes, I thought it was been incredibly original when I made it, and then when I was finished and watching it, that idea of the camera moving about and you heard the creature in the background was pretty much just the Evil Dead. But anyway, Lurker feature length draft idea 1. Okay, we're just going through. Okay, this is just like a list of the existing Lurker, essentially. Because obviously if we did a feature length version of it, we would have to reshoot the short film that already exists. So I have scripted a part up here. Okay, this is pretty much just going through the original script, compressing it ever so slightly. Okay, now we're getting into the beef of things. I've actually started getting into the chunk of the story here. That's interesting. I can't even remember writing this. That's good. That is good stuff. Don't mean to be sitting here blowing a lot of sunshine up my backside, but I am so happy to see this because, and again, you definitely need it. If you're interested in getting into this sort of stuff, always be writing, guys. Like, even if it's only taking notes on something, like, there is a crap load of ideas there that I had totally forgotten about. So that is what, 4 ideas that we're putting in the back burner so far. This one here is simply called scripts, and I do believe this folder is it's a couple of different printouts of the conclusion script. That was obviously for the actors that I was hoping to get my hands on. Oh, this is going to be an interesting folder. This one's entitled One-Offs and Series Ideas. Ooh, quite a thick bundle of sheets in here. Oh, this is a short film idea called Reflections. There's a one-off YouTube short. Okay, I remember this one here. This is an idea. The guy that acted as the lead in Conclusions came up with like a superhero idea. And there's no title for it, but that's just on this sheet here. It just says World's Worst Superhero. Little comedy short skit idea for YouTube. So there is Reflections, that's short film idea. World's Worst Superhero. This is another short film idea. Untitled Demon Hunter short. Okay, that's interesting. I don't recall this at all. But obviously, that's my handwriting. You know, it's not very good handwriting, but yes, my handwriting is that bad. Sometimes I should have been a doctor. Oh, here's an outline, an early outline for Masquerade. I thought I had lost this. Oh, no, sorry. This is the original short film idea for Masquerade that I started to expand upon. This will come in incredibly helpful as well, because there's a few parts in what I'm writing at the minute that are just not gelling together quite the way I would have wanted it to, and having this outline is going to be very, very helpful for that indeed. So excited. I am excited to find all this stuff. So again, kids, if you have a little bit of creative streak in you, a little bit of a creative streak in you, write everything down, even if the idea comes across as being absolutely ridiculous. You know, you never know where it could go. And the final one here, look how thick and chunky this one is. This is a 6-part mini series. Okay, this here. Okay, what's that doing on there? Okay, there's some notes from an online course that I was taking at a time. I don't know why I still have them. Oh, yes. This is actually completed scripts from a series that I was planning to do based upon, how would you describe it? When I was growing up, just left school in the early 90s, we had some random adventures, me and some friends, and you know, just hanging out, and gosh, I don't think I should say any more, because this is actually a really good idea. Okay, that's an 18 page, 21 page, 25, 26, 27 pages for episode 1. Ah, that's what that list of stuff was in that very first notebook. Episode 1 was A Day in the Life. It was this series. So I actually have got round to beginning to write it. This is the first, you know, rough draft, basically. So that is episode 1. Do we have the full 6? Right, this here is... Okay, we've got the series plot. That should have been at the top of that pile. Yes. This here is the blueprint. This is the 6-part online mini-series. It's a comedy drama. I'm not sure of the title of the series at this point. Possible title, blah blah blah, or similar title. Meaning, okay, now part of me now kind of wants to sit in this here and not let the idea get out. But we have, yes, the concept of the series right here. We have a list of the episodes right here. Yes, okay, that's what that is. That's the full 6 episodes, kind of, not scripted, but, you've got the episode titles. This is episode 2 right here. This is how many pages? 21 pages in that one. Have I got them all here? Episode 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I have rough drafts for 4 episodes out of 6. Guys, let me tell you something. This has made me incredibly happy to break open this box and check this stuff out, because there is a lot of stuff right here that I had completely forgotten about. And that's just the stuff that I have in the boxes. There's a couple of more books and stuff sitting across here that have more ideas on it that I know I have been writing on and off for probably 12 years at this point. So that is class. Okay, so let me just get this stuff together and see potentially what we've got here. So as far as, I am looking forward to getting back into doing some indie stuff again, because it has been a long time, 3 years, since I've created a proper indie film project. Writing on and off. There's tons of stuff here that, when completed, could be put into production very quickly. Now, look at the amount of ideas that we've got here. Potentially, we could do some good stuff right there. So that's only what I have on paper. The vomit pass stuff I have in the notebooks over there. There's at least another 7 project ideas on there, and that audio I recorded from the dream that morning, and this other little book over here that I've been keeping since 2003, I want to say, that had a lot of random YouTube script ideas. So that is exciting stuff, guys.